Greetings, everyone. Hope everyone had a great Thanksgiving and was able to enjoy some downtime and quality time and blessed time with family and friends. I know we were able to in the Stovall clan. So it's good to be able to be here today. I am thankful for a variety of reasons, but more important, I'm thankful to be with this young man, this brother in arms in the fight with our HBCUs. Dr. Anthony Jenkins, the president of Coppin State University. Brother Jenkins, appreciate you being here today.
Hey, Troy, listen, thank you. And I greatly appreciate you and the opportunity to be on your show. And it is an honor to be here. So thank you very much.
Thank you, sir. So we're going to jump right into it, man. We're going to jump right into it. So you have had an amazing journey. Your journey has been absolutely amazing. I think one of the things I want to start with is you really have been able to, you've attended predominant institutions and clearly have now led two HBCUs, and we'll get into that, yes. Two HBCUs. And so you've seen, if you will, from a higher ed point of view, both sides of the challenges and what good can look like and what not so good can look like.
That's right.
I guess I want you to talk about your journey in that and how you've had to straddle those worlds, what you brought from those institutions to what you do at HBCUs, and even the reverse. What at HBCUs you've been able to, say I could take back to predominant institutions?
Yeah, listen, Troy, thank you. That's an excellent question, and it is one that has really navigated my entire career. I've been very fortunate, as you've indicated. I have worked at historically white institutions, historically Black institutions, Hispanic serving institutions, large, small, rural, urban. And so I have seen higher education from multiple perspectives. Mm-hmm. And I will tell you that there's no common factor of which type of institutions get it right and which get Amen. It wrong. Because I've seen both or multiple types of institutions do things well and then also have shortcomings. And so what I've been able to glean throughout my career is really the understanding of how to position an institution, make it more student focused, more mm-hmm. student centered, and how to build partnerships and relationships and increase the overall value proposition of those institutions. Again, never leaving or losing focus of being student-centered. That is why we're here. And that's what I talk about when I arrived here at Coppin. That's what I talked about when I was in West Virginia. That's what I talked about at Virginia Tech, University of Central Florida, and so forth. But I will say that I came to a point in my career in working at predominantly white institutions where I began asking myself, am I better serving our students at large, predominantly white institutions, or do I take my talent and my energy and go make our institutions the best they could possibly be? And that's a very important question. And I went back and forth on that. And so I will say this. One of the many things that I learned is the political environment in which university leaders and universities have to operate within, regardless of what state you're in, or regardless if you are a historically Black institution or a predominantly white institution. There are politics that must be navigated and learned if you and your institution are going to be successful.
So several things I want to double click on. I mean, a lot I want to double click on. No, I really do, man, because folks know, and I've been in the higher ed space, particularly in HBCUs, and so. But I attended all PWIs, and I worked at HBCUs. So
that's right.
And just so people know, with Anthony, with President Jenkins, he attended Central, but he then went to Virginia Tech. So he's his academic, but he's already mentioned a number of schools he's led, he's worked at, which includes places like UCF and West Virginia, and now Coppin. But
now, hold on, Troy. You're going to get me in trouble if you don't mention my undergraduate alma mater, Fayetteville State University.
Fayetteville, you're right. My bad.
North Carolina.
My bad.
I am a Bronco for life. So
You-
I started there. Then I went to Central, became an Eagle. And then I went and the Hokies stood on the solid foundations of those two HBCUs. So I got to make sure FSU is in there.
A to the men, and my wife would be mad too. My wife is from North Carolina, so she when she saw, she'd have ate me alive too. So thank you for saving me.
Thank you, sir. I appreciate you.
You said student-centered. I mean, that's a word. Those are words that have been used a lot, particularly in this last year with COVID. Tell me what that means for you, because I've had this question because I've had some of your other colleagues from other HBCU and other universities in the system.
Sure.
So tell me what that means for you and for Coppin.
So great question, Troy. Let me tell you what it does not mean. It does not mean that the institution operates for the faculty, the staff, or the president. Okay, because those individuals are important, but they are not the core nucleus of what makes the institution what it is and what it is going to become. Everything we do, policies, procedures, customer service, focuses on the student. Quality education, wraparound services, focus on the student. Everything we do, as I challenge my team, I always hit the pause button and I say, wait a minute, how is that going to impact our students? Are we offering enough academic courses so that on their candidate plan of study, they can reduce the time to earning their degree and getting out of here? It's not about if faculty don't want to work over the summer, if faculty don't want to work Saturday and, Friday nights and all of these things. It's creating that environment where the student drives what we do, how we think, our core values, and who we are, because they are the greatest marketing tool we have. They are our product. And so when they hit the workforce, and people say, wow, look how intelligent this person is. Look how innovative they are. Their critical thinking skills, their self-efficacy. If that's the type of student that Coppin is educating, then I want to know more about Coppin and I want more of those students. So that's really the crux of what I mean when I say being student-centered. I know many institutions use that as a buzzword, and I'm telling you, Troy, I've been at institutions where they use that like they do diversity, and it is just simply in the marketing materials.
Yeah, we're going to come back and deal with diversity in a minute, but I couldn't agree more.
Sounds good. Sounds good. But that is what it means to me, is really asking your students and knowing, what does success look like for them? Because not every student is coming to earn a degree. Some are coming for certificates. Some are coming for continuing education, lifelong learning. So being in tune with what your students need, to me, is a part of being student-centered.
Yeah, you and I can stay on just on this. I mean, well, a lot of places I could go, but there was an article, I never forget, when I first got into higher ed, there was an article that was published that talked about students are the customers. I never forget the uproar that caused, particularly, you talk about somebody going to say, your faculty some of your faculty may or may not say some of the things you just said. They may or may not like some of the things you just said because they think they're the center of
That's right.
So
That's
I've
right.
been there. I've been there. But I never forget, I said the same thing, that students are both our clients and our customers. I said they're both. They're client and they're customers. And I think for many people, no disrespect to the faculty, they have a hard time with that juxtaposition, but it sounds like you don't. You understand that we serve them. Well, at the same time, we are, yes, they're paying us. Absolutely, they're paying us.
Sure.
And we serve them, but we have a responsibility and an obligation to them at the same time, it sounds like with you.
Listen, Troy, you are all over it. We have a moral and ethical responsibility to not just admit students into our institution and take their tuition dollars, but we have a responsibility and a ethical responsibility of making sure that we educate them as best we can and that we get them to the end of the journey. Because anything less than that is failure. And we often, when we fail in that way, put students and far greater harm than if they had never come to us. Right. So as I tell my team, just as much as we are courting, as we are loving, as we are nurturing and trying to recruit those students, have that same empathy, that same understanding when they're short on financial aid, when they may have run into some difficult life issues, when they may have to miss an exam because life gets in the way, right? When they don't understand all of the financial aid processes, and so they don't do what they're supposed to do. Also have that same nurturing, supportive, and caring mentality in those situations, because that's what it means to be a part of the Coppin family, is that we're not here just to take your money and to get you in to grow the institution, but we are committed to your transformation and getting you out of here so you can go do what Eagles have been doing since 1900, and that's changing the world, right? So to me, that is important. Product in, product out. We got to graduate more individuals, and that is a cornerstone of my presidency and what we're focusing on here at Coppin.
I like some of the words you use in there, and then we're going to move to something else. You said journey, but you also talked about that, because I think part about the argument I've been making for a number of years that the higher educational model in many ways is broken. And, I've talked about this, is that, the traditional model is you get an 18-year-old, you put them up in your residence hall, you keep them for 4, 5, 6 years, and they graduate. And clearly that doesn't always happen that linear fashion with HBCUs, but that's the basic model.
That's right.
And so, but you said that not everybody is aiming for a bachelor's degree. And so having them have the journey that makes sense for them, not being dictated to them, it sounds like where you're trying to take Coppin.
Listen, that's where higher education, in my opinion, is headed. And for those who are not willing to be agile enough to move there, they are going to be left behind. Our society, the workforce, the needs of our workforce, the operational structure of our workforce, those things are all changing. Some individuals may come back and just need a refresher, a certificate, continuing education. Again, we can't be all things to all people, but we can be in tune to what our city and our state needs. And that's what I am focusing on here at Coppin, and the Coppin community and I are in lockstep on that.
Well, that's a great transition to what I think the next thing I want to talk about is let's talk about Coppin, and more importantly, talk about Coppin and Baltimore and the intimate relationship, and obviously West North and the work that you're doing there.
First and foremost, I am extremely proud to be president of Coppin State University. As an anchor institution on the West Side, Coppin, it plays a significant role in the growth in Baltimore City, the state of Maryland, and across our nation. Now, we are a small university that offer our students a large university experience through research, experiential learning, internships, student leadership opportunities, ROTC, you name it, students can do it right here. And we are nationally recognized for our academic programs such as business, psychology, teacher education, health professions, social work, criminal justice, STEM areas. We are at the forefront of those areas, and I am proud to say we are atop the 4 HBCUs in the state of Maryland when it comes to many of the academic disciplines I just talked about. In fact, Troy, Grad Report just did an actual study that looked at graduates 1 year after they were out of college and where they were in their career and their annual salaries. Out of the 55 schools in the state of Maryland, Coppin was ranked 7th.
Hey.
7th. All right.
Hey.
And that's above other HBCUs and larger institutions in the state. Now, couple that with the fact that we had the lowest tuition of any 4-year university in the state. Affordability and access is important. $6,800 a year is what it costs. $6,800 a year. With the new infrastructure deal that was passed and signed into law by by President Biden, right? The Pell Grant amount went up.
Yep.
Just about $7,100. If you are Pell eligible here at Coppin, you could go for free.
Free, exactly.
Right. And to me, that is important to help people understand. Don't pay more and get less. Right. Pay what is most important. Let me say it this way. Invest in yourself in a very responsible and intelligent way.
Yep.
And if you focus on quality education, cost, and affordability, Coppin is a wonderful choice for anyone. Traditional age students, returning adult learners, those who want to focus on a certificate or returning education. Those are the things that we're doing here at Coppin.
I love it. And let me continue the commercial. So, most people, many people who may be listening to this, may not be from Baltimore or have an image of Baltimore, and particularly West Baltimore. If we're going to be honest, the images. But let me tell you, he talked about that it's the low cost. But and I would change it. It's the best value. Is the way I would say it, because where I'm going with this is, if you come to visit the campus, you're going to see one of the most beautiful, most modern campuses, HBC or PWI, that you're going to ever go to. And I'm saying, as someone who has worked at a bunch of HBCUs and a bunch of institutions and have advised a bunch of institutions. So I've seen what can and be and what can't be. And let me tell the folks that are listening and looking at what we're doing, take a look at Coppin and what it is in West Baltimore.
Troy, listen, I greatly appreciate you. We are extremely proud of our beautiful campus and our safe campus. We are the safest four-year institution in the state of Maryland and in the USM system. And we are very proud of that. Our safe, beautiful campus lends itself for students to come here, live, grow, socialize, build lifelong friendships, and transform their lives. So again, could not be more excited about our future and what we have going on, and just being the president of this incredible university.
Well, let's talk about you and being the president. So for our friends out here, this young man is obviously a scholar, is a leader, he's a husband, he's a father. Two beautiful young ladies. So there's a strange thing in higher ed where you have the job for about a year or so. And then after about a year, they actually give you the keys to the kingdom after you've been there for a year. So they have this thing in higher ed called investiture. So I attended, Anthony's investiture, I guess about 2 months ago now.
Yes.
Mm-hmm. And it's a beautiful ceremony, and in the middle of COVID, beautiful ceremony. And his two daughters introduced him. And there wasn't a dry eye in the house. Okay. It was not a dry eye in the house. So kudos to you. You clearly have two wonderful daughters. You. Clearly, everything you've done, like I say all the time, everything that I've done, my two best creations are my two kids, Zora and Lacey. So that's what I've
yes, sir.
My wife and I. And so where I really want to go, you've kind of given us a little bit of your journey, but what I want you to talk to, young Anthony, 16-year-old Anthony Jenkins.
Yeah.
I want you to talk to him. I want you to talk to him and tell him, here are the two things, man. Watch out. Watch out for these two. Make your decision, but watch out.
Yeah. Troy, man, I swear you are, this is a, Oprah moment, man. I tell you, you have taken me there. First, let me wrap that up into just a little bit before that. I am one of four children.
Okay.
Raised by a single mother. I was not born to a single mother. My mother and father divorced when I was 4 years old. Mm-hmm. I'm one of four children. I have a beautiful sister and two brothers. I'm the third of the four. I am a first generation college kid from the southeast side of Washington, D.C. My mother did not go to college, but always talked about it being the important factor in changing the trajectory of one's life. And so she instilled that in us. And in the same breath, she was very committed to keeping us from the trappings of Southeast DC. She had the tremendous responsibility of keeping my sister safe and not a victim. victim to the streets, not becoming a young teenage mom, and then she had the responsibility of taking 3 boys and transforming them into men. And with my sister and my 2 brothers, she's done an amazing job. The verdict on me is still out, so we'll see how that goes there. But I would tell that young 16-year-old Anthony to be cognizant of false friends.
Preach on that one.
And to understand that everybody is not cheering for you, and that you have to run your race and not someone else's. That's one thing I would tell him. And then I would tell him to have a greater appreciation for the journey. Right.
Amen on that one too.
Because it is that journey that is going to help you evolve and to be tested and to be ready so that your ambitions don't outweigh your talent.
Love it.
And so those are the 2 things I would tell him. Now, just amongst the many other things I would tell him, but I think those are 2 important things. As I look back, those I think are important factors.
See, I didn't say don't tell him who not to date or who to hang out.
See, that's look, Troy, that's what I was gonna say. There are so many other factors. I wasn't gonna get on the whole women thing, but I will tell you this. This is what I'll also tell young 16-year-old Anthony. And I had a gentleman tell me this many years ago when I was too immature to really understand it at that point in time. He told me, don't spend a lot of your time, I think he said, don't waste your time chasing women. Stay focused, be successful, and they'll chase you.
It's you. Yeah,
right?
Yeah. I like that.
And so, but at 16 years old, I wasn't hearing that.
You trying to get that rap on.
I wasn't hearing that, So, there are so many things that I will tell young Anthony, but I will say this, Troy, I would tell him, which he did, never lose faith, right?
That's the key.
Always stay faithful and know that if you put your hand in his, he will deliver you.
Oh, preach. Your first one about false friends remind me of something I tell my kids. I tell them, you can only rise to the highest level of the lowest level of the friends you keep.
I like that. Man, I love that.
Yeah, right. Because you will become what you hang out with. If you hang out with millionaires, you'll become a millionaire. If you hang out with pimps, you become a pimp. That's simple.
Now you sound like one of my favorite rap groups because I'm old school hip hop. EPMD.
Yes.
And so Eric and Parrish once said, if you hang with 9 broke friends, you'll be the 10th one. Same concept, right?
Yep.
If you hang with 9 hard heads, good luck. If you hang with 9 successful people who are moving in that direction in which you want to go, then you can see prosperity and all those other things touch you. So you are spot on, man. Listen, when is your book coming out?
You and I put that together. You and I do that together. How about that?
Sounds like a plan.
Let's talk about challenges. Look, let's look. We're sitting here at the end of 22. And I think we all thought we'd be at a different place. I tell people, I joke with you. We're all about to learn the Greek alphabet. You made your decisions for Greek. We all get one decision that may not always be the greatest, but hey, we all make our Greek decisions. But we're about to learn the Greek alphabet here, right? And I don't think any of us had signed up for this course, if you will. I think we thought by this point with vaccines that there was a light. I'm at the point, Anthony, where I thought, 22 for me is going to be where we're going to transition to living with COVID because this thing is going to be around. So my questions are around, because you came and you started right smack in the middle of this thing.
That's right.
You got dropped in the middle of. For folks that don't know, he hasn't been a president for long. He's been a president during the entire time of the pandemic. So he's had to manage through the pandemic. As he told me once, there were certain people of his team and his staff. Some people probably still haven't met because of the situation. So I want you to talk about kind of how Coppin and you have navigated, but also how Anthony, what's Anthony learned about Anthony that he's going to take to manage as we move into 22.
Yeah, thank you. Very, very good question. And let me say this. I'll start with what I learned first is I've learned, Troy, that we as people are more resilient than we give ourselves credit for, right? Because we have never experienced anything like this. Yep. And yet, for the most part, we have been able to keep some sense of sanity about ourselves and our lives and find ways to continue navigating, moving forward. We didn't throw our hands up and quit and stop and everything started to crumble around us. We became, I think, in some ways more determined, but our eyes were also open to say, you know what? With all this technology, with all of these things that we have in our society, we're still really primitive. Because as I tell my team and I tell students coming in, I don't care how great technology becomes, it will never supplant human interaction.
Yep.
Right? Because I've never seen a student walk off the stage in all my years of higher education at the end of graduation saying, I like to thank Microsoft, I like to thank Facebook, I like to thank Instagram. No, I like to thank my parents. I like to thank those faculty, those administrators, those people who believed in me. Yep. And so that's a part of what I've seen over this entire journey is that, I've seen the best in people because as I was leaving West Virginia, I was trying to position one institution in the middle of this pandemic to be as sound and ready for the new president to take my place, while I also had one foot straddled here in Baltimore at Coppin, making sure that the university was ready for me to arrive and that we could keep moving forward. And the team that I have here at Coppin has been tremendous. Good. From our College of Health Professions to our technology, to our faculty who flipped campus, to our students who said, we want to keep marching on. This will not stop us. We want to earn our degree. And so that type of tenacity has taught me that we are more resilient than we give ourselves credit for. But I've also learned through all this, Troy, is that, when we have these moments, I always pause to appreciate what I have around me. And you talked earlier about my daughters. My two daughters and my wife are everything to me, right? And so when you find yourself where you really are in this unpredictable mode of life, you cling to those things that bring you comfort, Amen. That bring you happiness. And so, being stuck in the house with my girls, to me, was not a bad thing at all. I just got to love on them more, hugs and kisses and all those good things. But Coppin has been very resilient in this also. Our positivity rate, Troy, since we put policies and procedures in place, never exceeded 1% the entire pandemic. In fact, over the last several months, we have been at 0%. And so while we have some...
You need to repeat that because, look, let's be blunt. You're a Black campus in West Baltimore, mostly Black students, not all, but mostly Black students. Who don't come, who come from, there's a very low vaccination rate amongst us Black people.
That's right. So Troy, to your point, I had external folks calling, emailing, and asking, what are you doing specifically at Coppin? How are things going? Because we're so concerned, right, for the very reasons you talked about. Mm-hmm. And so that being concerned is great, but have it come from an authentic place, right? Be as concerned about everyone else as you are about Coppin, but not because you think Coppin is not going to do what it's supposed to do. Don't be concerned for that reason, but come from a very authentic place. So we were able to shift and put those wraparound services and those protections around our campus community. And we are proud to say we're an example. When other institutions, bigger budgets, more money, more name recognition didn't open their doors, Coppin opened its. And we were able to protect our campus, the health and wellness of our students, never exceeding 1%. And again, over the last several months have been at zero. And I give credit to my students because they've taken this seriously. When I see them around campus, they are masked up. And what is most exciting about that and very promising is that they do it when nobody's watching. Because nobody's following them. I am looking out of my window over campus and I see them with masks on and trying to distance as much as they possibly can. That to me, they're still students. They're still students. It is. That's right. So that is very inspiring to me.
What's the definition of character? What you will do when nobody's watching.
That's right.
That's right. Well, look, as we close, I think some of our, we didn't get to half of what I want to get to, but that's fine. We'll get you. But I think some of our guests might be wondering, like, what is the CEO of TEDCO doing talking to this HBCU that, he's not part of MII, and, so I want folks to have a sense of understanding of the entrepreneurial efforts that you're doing there. And, we are, I love talking to the team, particularly, Dr. Williams and some of the other key leaders you have there, and the stuff that you're trying to do around West North. So I want folks to understand, the entrepreneurial aspect that you're bringing and talking about at Coppin.
Well, listen, thank you. And first and foremost, our partnership with you and TEDCO to me is very important because you all are at the forefront of change, diversity, inclusion, equality, technology, all those things. And those are important factors to Coppin State. So in our new College of Business that we have broken ground on, one of the cornerstones to that will be our Center for Strategic Entrepreneurship, where in that actual facility, we are going to have makerspace. We are going to have the opportunity for individuals to tap our faculty experts and our students for experiential learning opportunities to help small businesses grow and help startups put together their business plans so that they can start off on the right foot and be more successful. We are also going to be looking at how do we use our resources around some of our other academic areas as well, but we're going to be expanding our entrepreneurship university curriculum beyond our College of Business. And so we will have that across campus, regardless of a student's major. They will be taking a minimum number of hours of entrepreneurship courses. For example, the young woman or young man who is majoring in art may one day want to open up their own art gallery. There's a student here at Coppin that will go on to law school, may want to open up her or his own law firm. Our nursing students may want to open up a nursing practice, or our psychology students may want to open up a psychology practice. Entrepreneurship is critical to enhancing the critical thinking of our students and their holistic development. So we are committed to this, and I'm excited by what we're doing and what we're going to be partnering with TEDCO to do in the future.
What I love about, thank you for that. And I love about what you said was that because so many universities have entrepreneurship as a major within the business school, or maybe within the technology enterprises. But as you just said, you've thought through that anybody can be an entrepreneur. There's no degree limitations to be an entrepreneur. It's about wanting to do something different and innovative in a space. And obviously from where I sit, how to use technology in order to effectuate that.
That's right.
So, yeah. Well, look, brother, like I said, I got a whole bunch of, but I didn't get to, so I ain't impressed. Bro, I love you. I appreciate what you do
for Baltimore, man.
For Coppin. We're gonna hang out. I ain't gonna tell people.
Yes.
But we and he's a golfer too. For folks that want to know, I ain't gonna tell you the whole. I ain't gonna tell people the Heidi story. Because she loves telling that story about all three.
Listen. Like I told Heidi, Heidi hit some very good shots, but like I told her, you can put a cat in the oven, that don't make it a biscuit.
Ooh, I can't do it. But who folks who know, we're talking about the president of University of Maryland Eastern Shore, Dr. Anderson. So that's funny. That is funny. Well, look, bro, appreciate you. Have a super holiday season with that wonderful family of yours. And I appreciate you being on us today. To our listeners and our viewers, thank you once again. Again, we continue. I was just talking to Ms. Thomas, our executive producer. I meet people literally. I get calls from people who tell me how they get to know me is not through my Facebook page, but by looking at some of these TEDCO Talks. And so we appreciate that. Appreciate the folks viewing it and looking at it. So once again, Troy Lamel-Stovall, CEO of TEDCO. Thank you all for listening. Have a good holiday season. We'll talk soon. Take care.
Thank you, Troy.
Thank you, bro.